So yeah, they're banging in the pool. There's fucking orgy going on in the pool. Gotta clean the pool.
Yeah. If the movie has any redeeming quality whatsoever, it's his fucking robe. Crapule.
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 This whole story is crapule. Hey there, all you groovy, blood-sucking bastards. It's What the Suck Podcast, and I'm your host, Chris. And joining me from far away, but not that far away, but far enough that I can't see his lovely face in person, is my co-host, James Bishop. What's going on, James?
What's up, bitches? How's everybody doing this evening?
Man, I am Okay, so, Night's movie was kind of a mixed bag.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah. So so this was actually way back last year when we decided to change up season 3 and make it all about physical copies of movies, right? We're like, okay, we're gonna do physical copies so we can do a giveaway and all this other bullshit.
Yep.
Well, this was actually the first movie I picked up for that.
Yeah, and the name.
And I got it for like
yeah, the name is freaking awesome.
Yeah, the name is cool. And I just picked it up because it was like on clearance at half price books. It was like $1.
Which should tell you, oh my God, this thing's a piece of shit. But you know what?
Yeah, so the piece of shit we're talking about is none other than 1999's Teenage Space Vampires.
Now, it just sounds god-awful from the get-go. But unfortunately, it's like one of those things. It's like you're repulsed, but you just can't look away. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
And I didn't really look at it when I bought it. I just saw Teenage Space Vampires. I saw the $1 label, and I picked it up. It wasn't until later that I looked and I saw it was rated PG. I was like, oh, fuck me.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Like shit.
But
needless to say, yeah. So let's get into the details of the movie real quick. So, as I said, it's 1999, directed by Martin Wood, written by Martin Wood as well. So writer director, that's never a good plan. Produced by a ton of people, music by a bunch of people. Let's see, anything else good? Makeup department. All right, so
that's how it usually goes with these.
Yeah. So, but let's get into the cast real quick. Okay, so we got Robin Dunn as Bill Swenson, Mac Fife as Kevin Elliott James Key as Hank, Lindy Booth as Katie, Jesse Nilsson as Jesse, Richard Clarkin as Danvers, Bianca Brad as Paul, Serban Celia as Jonas, and then a whole bunch of others that don't fucking matter.
Exactly.
So, that's the cast. Now, there's not a lot of information on this. Yeah, on this movie, really. There's not a ton of information, but let me read the back of the box to get the synopsis for you. So, something strange in Knollwood. Being a nerdy teenager in a small town is hard enough, but when a UFO comes to visit and everyone begins to act even weirder than usual, Billy Stetson decides to investigate. A government quote-unquote SETI team is dispatched to check out the sighting, and Billy teams up with Agent Hank to find out if these alleged visitors exist. Their search leads them to an abandoned mine shaft, where they discover a coven of space vampires conspiring to trap the light from the sun into an all-powerful diamond, which will allow them to rule the world in eternal darkness. That's pretty much the entire fucking movie right there.
Yeah, you pretty much described the whole damn thing. The rest of it's just bullshit.
Yeah, I know. That's pretty much the whole fucking thing. That's like the script right there almost.
Yeah, it is. That really is. That's a good summary.
So I couldn't find any Rotten Tomatoes on this. IMDb, the rating on it is 2.6 out of 10 based on 493 reviews.
That's being generous.
Being very generous. So real quick before we start the review, let's just if you want to run through our rating system real quick, James.
I sure will. As everybody knows, or maybe you don't know, but if you don't, shame on you. We rate all of our movies on a turd emoji scale, using 1 to 5, of course, 1 being best and 5 being holy shit, because basically
Holy
we
shit is
invert it. Yeah, they get worse. The 1 turd is the ones you want to keep in your queue. These are the ones you'll enjoy over and over and over. And 5 turds are basically, you watch them once. You got to watch them at least once. And then you go run out into traffic or smoke a blunt, dive off a balcony or something of that nature. As the scale progresses, you'll just want to increase the amount of alcohol you consume and,
Yes.
play some drinking games with it and have some fun, because ripping on horror movies, like I said, it is a real blast. If you're doing it in person with your friends, it can be a real kick.
Or, as we learned last year after the lockdown, even doing it through Zoom with a bunch of people
Yes.
online
Yes.
is a lot of fun too.
It certainly is. We had a ball doing that.
We had a ton of fun doing that.
Yes,
yeah.
sir, we did.
So, all right. Well, before we get started to the actual review, I wanted to bring up one more thing. I think the reason I bought this movie was because I didn't see the PG. Obviously
because it was a buck. Yeah,
I'll buy that for $1.
That's right.
While I didn't see the PG in the back, what I did see was that it was distributed by Full Moon Pictures. And
now, we've done a shitload of Full Moon Pictures, and most of them are pretty damn good. They're not
we
bad.
Are fans of Full Moon Pictures.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, this can't be that bad. Well, let's go ahead and get to that, shall we?
Yep.
The town of Knollwood. A nice place to live. Until the night they arrived.
It's like one of those spaceships you see on the midnight movie.
Now, people are changing. Controlled by a mysterious force. Determined to plunge this little town into eternal darkness. And only a boy, who no one believes, can bring them out into the light.
Okay, so right off the bat, I just want to say that this movie, as I said earlier, was a mixed bag. So
yeah, let's put it this way: you can watch this with a toddler. You can have kids. You can have kids in the room. It's definitely a PG rating, and if it is it's light PG. I'm talking, it has the anger and the energy of a Power Rangers episode. I mean, it's not.
Yeah. No.
It's not super violent, unfortunately.
This movie reminds me of an extended episode of the old Goosebumps TV show.
Yes.
Or the Are You Afraid of the Dark TV show. It had that level of like production and script, and that level of especially that level of special effects. Like the special effects came straight out of fucking Goosebumps for sure.
Absolutely, man. That, like I said, you can't describe it better than that. So at least that sets the stage for what we are about to talk about here.
Yeah. And saying that, there are going to be two things lacking from this episode. One is a kill count, because there's no deaths. Two,
none.
Rescue titties. There's no rescue titties because it's PG. There's not even any cussing in this movie.
Hell, there's not even rescue side boob. I mean, this totally robbed, man.
Yeah, again, it's completely just a long episode of Goosebumps. But that being said, that also to me was part of the charm, because I love the Goosebumps TV series and I love Are You Afraid of the Dark TV series and those kind of things. So growing up, I watched a lot of them. So this is kind of was like a time capsule, kind of taking me back to that age when I used to watch those all the time. And it kind of had that sort of charm to it, where it's like, you're watching something that's crap, and it's not really scary, but there's something about it that it just brings you in with its bad charm.
Well, I have to disagree, my friend, because, fuck all that and that Sigmund and Sea Monster bullshit. I want to see somebody get their head chopped off. I want to see somebody get gutted, and I want to see some rescue titties. But that's all right. Proceed, my friend.
So it starts off late at night in this town. So I guess I say town, on this street that obviously looks like it's just a set somewhere, because it doesn't look like it's actual part of a town. It's just like
I think they
houses.
got a vacant lot, and they erected this fucking radioactive bird bath in the yard.
Yeah, it's just like and then so we're introduced to so it's late at night. There's some dude walking his dog, and the main character Billy, who's a teenager who looks like he's fucking 30, is in his bedroom, and he hears a noise. He looks up and he sees. Okay, another thing that's also reminded me of was the old Doctor Who episodes, because it had that sort of level of bad CG and bad special effects as well.
Oh
and
no,
bad
you didn't.
costumes.
You did not bring the Doctor into this. Oh
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, this is very much 1963 to 83 type of Doctor Who. Yeah,
That's very, very
but
true.
again, and with Doctor Who, that everybody knows that it's known for it's not that great of special effects, but it's still charming, and people
Yeah.
still love it.
Doctor Who
So
kicks
and
ass.
yeah, I'm a Doctor Who fan, so
Yep.
that's part of the love. So anyway, so he sees this very badly CG'd cloud, and for some reason in the middle of the cloud there's like a console or like a UFO or something, or part of UFO, and he sees a creature, but I don't know. Anyway, he sees it and it shatters a light, and then he goes to sleep, and then we're given our very boring, very plain title card that just says Teenage Space Vampires in red against a black background.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, so then
And that's as ominous as the movie gets.
that's exactly exactly as ominous. Yeah. So then it's like the next day, and our 30-year-old teenager is out to deliver newspapers, because he has, I guess, a day job or whatever.
Now, time
And
out.
he's-
Before you say newspapers with an S,
Mhm.
he has the smallest, skinniest, emptiest newspaper bag I've ever seen of any newspaper boy I've ever seen. And I was a paper boy when I was 10 years old. And I used to have the satchel that went over my head, had the big ass pocket in the front and back, full of newspapers. And then you'd start tossing papers, and you'd get to a point to where the damn papers in the back were choking your ass, and you had to hurry up and deliver all the shit in the front so you could spin it around and deliver the rest of your papers. But yeah, he had no papers, or he had
Well,
like
because-
one newspaper.
He lives
Yeah.
on a street with 8 houses, so he doesn't
I
have a very
guess.
big user base, you know?
I guess I had two subdivisions, so oh well.
Yeah, he definitely, he doesn't even have like a half a subdivision. He just has just this quarter of a block he lives on.
Fuck him. He's 30
Deliver.
years old and he's delivering papers, and he's still living in his mama's basement.
Oh, because he's supposed to be a quote unquote teenager. He's supposed to be in high school.
Worthless.
So, so he's delivering papers, and we're getting met with our cast of characters that we just don't give a shit about later on. And he comes across. Okay, this is so fucking dumb.
I'm just throwing that in.
across the UFO at the end of the street in this middle of like this field.
Yeah.
It's
just
standing on its side.
It's a big, like I said, it looks like a big radioactive bird bath, and it's just like sitting in this vacant lot, and nobody notices this damn thing.
No, it's sitting on its side, and it's got these 2 tiny gargoyle statues around it that are supposed to be quote unquote protecting it. But like he sees it, and then he's like, "Whoa, what is that?" But then he just decides to stop caring, and he goes to school.
I like that. He decides to stop caring. That is awesome.
And this is when we're introduced to his best friend. I forget the guy's name, but I call him Matthew Lillard if you got him off Wish.
Yeah, the little blonde douche with the glasses, of course, nerd boy.
So yeah, so he meets his friend for lunch at their quote unquote high school. And he starts telling about the UFO he saw, and then we're introduced to his sister and her 2 friends who are there making fun of him. And then we're introduced to a bunch of to her sister's boyfriend and to 2 bullies who are their twins, and they mess with Billy, yada yada yada, blah blah blah.
It's such an after
Uh,
school. It's such an after school special kind of movie. I swear to God, this is like,
yeah.
ugh.
I mean, seriously, there's really not a whole lot to break down in this movie. So
I
we're just
I
gonna go over
actually,
the,
this was my official note for that entire scene. It says standard
yeah.
lunchroom scene. Click click deleted. Useless. That was my actual note that I took on that scene. I was like, this whole scene didn't even need to happen.
Nice. So then we're in class. He's in class, and they're watching some movie or some projector movie on this mine that used to be in the town that found this giant diamond in the mine, and then the diamond disappeared, and the mine was shut down. And we're introduced to teacher Davros or whatever the fuck his name was. I don't remember his name. But so then he tells his friend about the UFO and like, okay, well let's get some gear together. Let's go document this and figure it out. God, his friend looks so much like a young Matthew Lillard, like a low rent Matthew Lillard, but so much like him.
I wanted to say he was like a nerdier pre-Cobra Kai version of Dutch. If anybody remembers Dutch from the Karate Kid, the blonde kid, that's who he reminded me of, but like a much younger, nerdier version before he got tough.
But yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's a good point. But no, he definitely looks more like young Matthew Lillard from like Scream or something. But then we're introduced to his parents, who are like the most whitest people on the entire world. They're eating like mayonnaise on white bread with no crust. But and this is another thing that the movie has going kind of for and against it, is that everybody except for like Billy, everybody is a horrible actor and they can't read their lines right, and they're just like the audio doesn't match. Like two people's audio don't match. One sounds like it was audio captured on set,
yeah,
while the other one sounds like it was audio captured through ADR. So like none of the audio like matches. It's just completely off.
It's like a Saturday morning Godzilla movie, kind of.
Yeah,
just a little off.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna fast forward a bit, because then what happens is SETI comes into town. And
That's
it's
me
like
fast forwarding.
It's three people. It's a guy, a girl, and two guys. They come into town to set up shop to investigate the UFO, or try to find where the UFO is, because they tracked the readings to this town, but they don't know where it's at. Meanwhile,
now we can't forget, man. They show up in a badass silver Dodge Caravan that has SETI on the side with a little alien head. So these guys are with the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. For y'all who don't know what SETI means, if you're listening to this show and you don't know who SETI is, shame on you. But that's all right.
Yeah, so it makes them official. So, but yeah, so while it's going on, this thing has been in that clearing for like 2 days now.
Nobody notices.
At the end of the street, okay, it is literally like 8 feet from the road, and whenever they show like some of the characters talking, you can clearly see multiple houses in the background. So and earlier when he was delivering papers, you saw kids out there. Yep. So the kids should have been out there investigating. Parents should have been out there. Everybody can see the damn thing.
They're just, oh, that's peculiar, and just keep going.
But, yeah, nobody gives a shit though.
Nope.
So they're out there investigating it, and man, I don't even know where I want to go with this, because this is just it's not terrible. It's just it's so underwhelming, I guess.
Well, we also forgot, when the boy was up there poking at it, the nosy neighbor came from next door. She looks like Meatloaf with a wig on. This big heifer coming harassing him, screaming at him, blah, 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 and all this shit, and run his ass off. And then what it was, I think he came back to it after she left, and he started poking at it, and he got shocked and knocked on his ass.
Yeah.
And then that's when all of a sudden, mysteriously, they all just showed up. Oh, and we can't forget, these guys are with SETI. They've got a van, but they only got one box and a 1980 version home TV satellite, one of those big ass ones you used to have in your front yard. It's not the cute little digital direct TV ones. These are the ones that were like 6 feet and 7 feet in diameter, huge, and that's all they had. But yet when they go inside, of course, and they set their lab up, and they got tons of shit. But what's cool about it
Yeah.
is all this equipment looks like the shit that I trained on when I was back at school 35 years ago. It's freaking awesome. I mean, because it's
'Cause-
old oscilloscopes and shit, and I'm sitting there going, man, this is kind of nostalgic in a little bit, but
Yeah, because they bought it all from a fucking like garage sale from a school or something.
yeah.
Yeah. So after Billy gets shocked by it, and then he picks up a lawn gnome and throws it at the thing, which ends up absorbing the lawn gnome.
It does. And then these SETI assholes, they show up, and then they basically tell him, oh, thanks, kid, now fuck off.
Yeah.
And they push him away, He's the one discovered it. And so he ends up going back to school, and out in front of their high school, I noticed, what is with the, if anybody's seen The Shining,
Mhm.
what is with the freaking hedge maze out in front of the
Oh, I
high
know.
school? Did you notice that?
I noticed that. Yeah, I was like, what the hell kind of high school has something like that in their fucking front?
I don't know. Well,
Yeah.
anyway, what's funny is they get on down the road with this thing. We're going to skip forward again because it's like more high school useless shit. Well,
Yeah.
then there's a scene when they're inside this building. They go back to the lab, and the SETI guys have left the scene. They're back in their lab, and they're punching buttons and trying to figure shit out. And I think, who is it, the road guard guy? The guy I call him Mr. Safety Man.
Well, hold on. Before you get there, we got to go back a bit because before that happens, after they send Billy off to school, the main guy with glasses, the bald dude. He's telling the other two to get some equipment out because they need to take readings. Well, the long-haired dude goes to the back of the van to get a camera out, and the neighbor lady shows up.
Yeah.
And when it pans over to her, her eyes get all long and glowy, and then her teeth get all sharp, very much like Goosebumps, like a Goosebump type of like effect. And then he disappears. So then the female comes to the back of the van, and then she disappears. And so now it's just the bald dude by himself because the other two have been taken by the space vampires.
And once again, oh, that's peculiar.
Yeah,
No real mystery there.
nobody cares.
But then that's right. And then that's at the point where he kind of panics, grabs his shit, goes back to the lab. And while he's there, Mr. Safety Man from earlier in the movie, I called him Mr. Safety Man because he's sitting around with a road guard vest on, and
Right.
he talks all monotone, and he's like on dope or something. He goes in there and he tries to accost Mr. Glasses dude, whatever his name is, the leader of the SETI group. I don't even know his name. I don't give a shit. But what's funny is somebody come in. I think the kids bust in on him. The nerd boy and Billy come in there and interrupt what looks like a Shawshank rape scene about to happen.
Yeah. No shit.
Because this Mr. Safety Man's pushed all up on this guy, got his hands on his shoulders. He's getting ready to Andrew Dufresne his ass. And these kids show up, and the guy's like, and he snaps to, and nothing. He just fades out. Like I'm sitting there going, an alien wouldn't be scared. He would attack all of them, but yet he's
Oh yeah.
he pulled back for some reason. So I don't know what the hell that was all about, but I found that scene kind of funny because it looked like he was getting ready to mount that son of a bitch. It was hilarious.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the quote unquote vampires in this movie, space vampires, are big fucking chickens like the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing I do want to notice, another thing, the acting absolutely to me sucks. Like I said, it's bottom of the barrel Saturday morning shit. It's corny. But what I noticed, I don't know if you noticed this, throughout the whole movie, it's like the entire movie had sound effects. It never hardly had any breaks. There was always like these weird cyclone noises and shit. It was just freaking weird. And it was constant. There was no breaks. It was really weird.
It's like it was afraid that if it was quiet for like a second, you would like lose interest.
Yeah, it's like a bottom of the barrel 99-cent. Here we go plugging again for our boys at Spirit Halloween store. Like one of those old ass discs that play just the corniest, shittiest Halloween music and sound effects. I mean, it's just really, really poor. But holy shit.
Yeah. So we're gonna go a little forward again. So basically, what happens is the space. Okay. So the somehow I forget. Billy breaks into the UFO. And he's there, and he sees, and it's him and the scientist guy. They're able to get in, and they get to the center of it. Which, speaking of Doctor Who, okay, the UFO that's outside, right?
Yep.
You see it. It's maybe about 8-10 feet tall, maybe about 3 feet, 2 feet wide. Okay, it's not very big. The second they enter this motherfucker, it's a huge, giant spaceship with like different levels and different floors and shit. Very much like a TARDIS.
Exactly.
Bigger on the inside.
Yep.
But they get inside there, and they get to like this one section, and they see the leader talking to his minions, talking about how they need to get this diamond and fill it with the light of the from the eclipse that's coming up.
Yeah, and I'm
So they
sitting
can-
here. Oh God, yes. And I sat here, and I had a Land of the Lost flashback. And I said, "Oh, great! Now we got a bunch of fucking slee stack in a cave." I was
Mhm.
like,
Pretty much what it was.
Holy shit!
Space sleeve stacks, yeah. And so they have to fill this diamond with like the light from the eclipse in order to use its power to cast the earth into eternal darkness, which is stupid as shit because the vampires are walking around in the daylight, so they don't need to kill the sun.
Yeah, they're a bunch of blades running around. They don't have no problem with no sun. So.
No, they're perfectly fine within the sun, so they don't need to fucking knock out the sun. Makes no fucking sense.
Well, it could be the space DNA too. See, so you never know.
Ugh. So anyway, so they have to figure out how to stop them, and it all boils down to Billy and the guy creating this trap, or not this trap, but this set of contraptions inside the UFO. Somehow, completely, the aliens are unaware of them setting all this shit up inside their UFO, which looks like a warehouse, a factory warehouse. Okay, but they're setting all these fucking mirrors up inside the UFO.
Yep.
Because what they're going to do is they're going to turn the mirrors on, and it's going to reflect the sun away from the diamond and into something else, so the diamond doesn't get full. But apparently it doesn't work correctly because the diamond is actually, like, the sun actually hits the diamond and is starting to fill it up. And while this is going on, they turned like about they turned all of the soccer team into vampires because the teacher that's the vampire is also the soccer coach.
That's like I was saying, yeah, and they had a game where they actually plotted to get everybody in town, which was like 13 people.
Mm-hmm.
It was funny.
Yep.
It's like they foresaw the future here, and there was like 13 or 14 people in the stands, and they were all social distanced.
Yeah.
So it was crazy. There was like nothing. There was no crowd because they couldn't afford it. They probably asked for extras, and the locals probably told them to go fuck themselves. So we're not going to be part of this piece of shit. Teenage what? No, I'm out.
Nope. So while they're at the soccer game, at one point, they decide to go ahead and
give order. What is it? Order 66.
yeah. They order 66. Everybody and said, okay, we're going to start it. I think it starts when one of them attacks the referee, and then
for a bad call, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
Made it look good. So
then the rest of the team starts attacking the other team. And so, this movie had me laugh legitimately one time during this part. Okay. So while that's happening, the low rep Matthew Lillard, he's in the crowd, right? He's sitting in front of Billy's parents. He's watching the game. You find out he's also a vampire. He got turned as well. And when the players start attacking the other players, and the people in the crowd realize something's going on, the Matthew Lillard guy stands up, turns around facing the parents, has his teeth out and his eyes out, and the mom says, "Oh, just sit down." And then he turns around and sits down.
Yes, man.
He got rejected.
Yeah, sit your vampire ass down. Shut up.
Yeah, that actually got me to laugh.
Funny. That was pretty good.
Yeah. So then, of course, as we all know, because it's a Goosebumps episode, they destroy the diamond, they destroy the vampires, everybody turns back to normal. Yep. Billy saves the day.
Yeah, because they succeed in getting back to the cave, and their little light deflecting thing works. It takes the light off of that, and they manage to stab the head alien, who I don't even know his name is, but the head vampire. If you think about Lost Boys, he's the top vampire, and all his little minions, all the townspeople. Well, he ends up stabbing him with this like triangular shaped object that was from the thing. Stabs him with it, and one thing I need to note: the head alien walks first of all, like he shit himself. He walks.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about that costume for a sec. So the head alien is always in costume, and he's the only one whose costume is from head to toe.
Yes.
The rest of the time, whenever you see a quote unquote vampire alien, It's only the mask or the hands.
They're in regular clothes, exactly. And this
Yeah.
son of a bitch is walking around. First of all, he's got like a hump, and he's got what
Yeah.
looks like a cane. What looks like the handle of a cane coming out of one shoulder.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. He never at any point uses it. So it's like, what the hell is that for? It's just an extra appendage. Maybe it's made to look like a tentacle or something, but it's cheap shit makeup. This ain't no what's our boy Stan Winston?
Yeah,
No,
Stan
this
Winston.
ain't
Yeah,
this
or Rick
ain't no
Baker. Yeah.
that Stan Winston could take a shit that looks better than what this dude was wearing.
Let's also talk about it. So he's also on stilts.
Yes.
He's on stilts because they wanted to make his legs look like an insect's legs or a dog's legs where it goes back or whatever. But so he's on stilts, and that's why he walks like he's taking a dump, because apparently the stilts, he wasn't either good at walking on the stilts or the stilts weren't comfortable. So he walks super awkward and super slow the entire fucking movie, and it is obvious that those are fucking stilts.
It is hilarious, but yeah.
Yeah. But you were saying, go on.
It's very laughable. No, but I was just say, well, anyway, what he does, he goes in there and takes the light out of that, stops the power drain from the moon and the sun, neutralizes his power, and then he frickin' shanks his ass with this damn alien shiv that he picked up off the floor somewhere.
Yeah.
He just mysteriously found this thing earlier in the movie, and I forget, and then he goes and he stabs him with it, and he turns into this purple glob and mist and shit, and just basically evaporates. And then, like you said, everybody changes back to normal. The neighborhood's back to normal. The dogs and kids are playing in the streets. Yay.
Yay.
And we get our lesson for the day, boys and girls.
Yeah. So, and then that's it. And that's
pretty much
no deaths, no deaths, no cursing, no rescue titties.
Yeah.
I mean, it literally was, I mean, it was I wouldn't even say it was PG. It was more of a G, maybe slightly. It might be PG because there might be some quote unquote scenes that might scare slightly younger kids.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna go ahead and say right now, I'm giving it a 4.
Yeah.
It only gets a 4 because of how much it reminds me of, like I said, of Goosebumps, Are You Afraid of the Dark, or even to a better extent, Doctor Who, and just that it has this, so bad it's good quality charm.
Yeah.
But the script sucks, the acting sucks, the plot sucks, the sets suck. The audio sucks, but god damn it, if it just didn't charm me enough to give it a fucking 4.
Yep, and 4 it takes some doing. That's still pretty bad, but 4 is not so good. I'm going to be a little bit meaner though. I almost 6-turded this thing because of the extraordinary lack of horror content. And like I said, it was more like just a sassy little afternoon special. Yeah. Is it charming? Sure. But from a horror aspect, I thought it completely blew. I was like, holy shit. But I'm going to go 5 turds. Reason being is I want people to at least watch it once just to see how corny it is. And plus the name, Teenage Space Vampires. I mean, come on. Yeah. Somebody actually might like it better than we do. But I'm going to give it at least a 5. I'm not going to give it a 6 because I do want our listeners to actually check this one out at least once. And then, like I said, you're definitely going to smoke a bowl after this.
Yeah.
Or maybe even impair yourself beforehand, and you might actually enjoy it more.
They can watch it with their kids.
Yeah, you can, unfortunately. So what does that tell you? With all the other crap we've been watching, and we got one you can watch with your damn toddler. Yeah.
Yeah, that tells you something. Yeah, that's.
I can't be too nice to this one, but like I said, I'm not gonna totally torpedo it. But 5 for me, definitely.
I also want to make note. I don't know who. So a couple things. The cover of this DVD shows the kid in front of the UFO, but the UFO is like in the desert, and there's like a shadow of the head alien coming at him, but. The kid on the cover, I don't know who the fuck that is because it's not Billy. It's other random white kid.
It's not Billy, and the setting is all wrong.
Yeah.
This damn UFO is sitting in somebody's side yard with a bunch of gnomes and shit and a couple little gargoyle figures in front of it. It's just sitting there. It's
Yeah, but it's not Billy on the cover. I don't know who the fuck that is, but it's not Billy. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right, James, why don't you tell the folks at home where they can find us, and if they want ad-free episodes, where they can find that too.
Well, after watching this one, if you're not on the toilet, go ahead and go to See us on all 3 major platforms. We are on Facebook, we are on Twitter, and we are on Instagram. We also have a Patreon page if you'd like to, support the show. We got $1, $5, and $10 levels. Just go to patreon.com/whatthesuck. We also have a TeePublic store, and you just go tpublic.com, search What the Suck. We got a little bit of merchandise there, and we will be adding to it. COVID season has kind of put a kibosh on a lot of the stuff we've been doing, but we are going to be getting back into it. So we're sorry for, this third season is taking quite a while to get through, but we will get there. We do have some giveaways coming. We have our Annabelle giveaway package. I'll be posting that pretty soon.
Month.
Yeah,
it starts this month. Yeah,
it sure does.
So tell them about that real quick, James.
I sure will. To get an entry into the contest, it's real simple. You can become a Patreon. Our $5 and $10 levels. The $5 level gets 1 automatic entry per month that you're subscribed. $10 level gets 2 entries. You can also go give us a review, Apple Podcast or anywhere that you review podcasts, and leave us a rating. Send us a screenshot of that rating to whatthesuckpodcast@gmail.com, and that will qualify as an entry. You can do individual episodes, or you can just do the show as a whole. The more you submit, the more entries you get. So we're gonna.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a badass Annabelle doll. And this thing was like $70. It wasn't cheap.
Yeah, it's legit. So definitely give us a review, and you will get entered into that contest, and you get a free Annabelle doll.
Yes.
All right, but I'm ready to call it a night with this piece of shit. So
I'm done. I am
this is
done.
Chris, and I will see y'all at the next shit fest.
Yeah, and this is James, and if it ain't on What the Suck, it ain't shit.
Start your day right with Daily Immune Support Plus Extra Strength 5-Hour Energy. It contains all the great 5-Hour Energy Shot ingredients, plus added vitamins and nutrients like zinc, vitamin D3, and vitamin C to help support the immune system. It comes in 3 great flavors: Ultra Orange, Pineapple Apricot, and Pink Watermelon. All this comes in a convenient portable bottle that takes just seconds to drink. No mixing required. Daily Immune Support Plus Extra Strength 5-Hour Energy. Get it today at your local Rite Aid store.